So, the final DCEU movie has been released. It is out there. We see it now. And the DCEU has gone through downs, downs, more downs, some arguable ups, and down so low they make me question all that I love in this world. Yes, of course, I'm talking about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which came out couple of months ago. Yeah, as you can see, being a college student and trying to run a review show is a recipe for timeliness. And I gotta say, this movie's pretty damn good. Now, if you're like me, and you have no life, and spend all your time watching movie reviews on the internet, then you have already seen people's videos about how this movie sucks. This is the worst movie ever. It's really bad. The DCEU is dead. And all that nonsense. Well, I would just like to say that the DCEU died from its inception when they decided to hire Zack Snyder to direct Superman. But when it comes to this movie, those people who make all the "it sucks, it's bad, this is the worst movie ever, yada yada yada," those people are liars. I mean, I get all the opinions like, oh, you shouldn't judge for other people's opinions, it's just an opinion, man, whatever. But you gotta really look at some of these people and say, are you just trying to be angry? I mean, look, I hate, absolutely hate the way that DC has treated, or sorry, Warner Brothers has treated some of their most important characters as much as anybody else. But as far as Aquaman goes, I don't know. That ain't bad. In fact, don't tell anyone I said this, but it might actually be a little bit of fun. Although I will say that the backlash behind this movie is not entirely surprising. One, like as previously mentioned, DC did not do a good job with these movies. Warner Brothers clearly didn't care. And two, I don't know if you've noticed, but I think people are just getting a little bit, just a little bit, fucking sick of superhero movies. I mean, with how many mediocre, half-assedly made, and just kind of bad movies that have come out in the superhero genre nowadays, people have really set the bar way up here, and the movies are just kind of like, if you expected this movie to be some great work of cinema, I think you may need to manage your expectations a little bit. Did someone mention story? Let's talk about story. This movie is Ocean Conservation, the movie. It's pretty ham-fisted, just like in the last movie, but it kind of works. It's something that Aquaman deals with in his stories. And he's the king and chief diplomat of Atlantis. And it's tied in this movie with Aquaman accepting his role as king. So it works. They make it a point in the story to show that Arthur doesn't like being king. And he's kind of bad at it. But they also make it a point to show that because Arthur's of both worlds, he's the only one that can really solve the problem. Unlike Orm, who is so focused on his beliefs, it blinds him the fact that he is... Oh God, I can't talk. It blinds him to the fact that he is not the rightful heir to Atlantis. I'll get to him later. Now, astute viewers of the last movie may notice that the two villains are exactly the same. And I like this. See, I'm not a fan of the trend in modern superhero movies where they kill off the villain at the end. It's lame, and it severs our connection with the villain. It doesn't make sense for the hero, the good guy of the story, to be a murderous asshole. Now, some of you may be saying, John, if you want to make the villain more interesting, we have to understand their tragic history, understand them as a person. They got to be more human than our hero, Which I would say you are incorrect. The thing is, just making a villain a tragic villain does not automatically build a connection with us. In comic books, we see the same villains over and over again, but they present an ever-present and increasing challenge for our hero. Think about Lex Luthor, right? He's a good villain because he's intelligent. He's got an ego the size of the sun. And he views himself as better than everyone else around him. And he's always present. He's always presenting a super increasing threat to Superman. And Lex is like, yeah, you can't just punch me. You're going to have to figure out a way to lock me in jail with your brain. Or again, the Joker. He's always present in most Batman stories. He is an ever-increasing threat in most comic lines he's in. And the more we see him, the more we get invested into him. Time spent with a comic book villain makes us like them more. And the same goes with multiple villains, and surprise villains, if they're teased well, which the surprise villain in this movie is teased well. Oh no, I'd say this story is the best part of the movie. It's highly written, solid, and it works for a fun action movie. Good job, writers. But as they say, what is a story without characters? And if you're talking about Aquaman, Orm, and Black Manta, I would say you're a pretty good one. Everyone else, good job, you showed up. Now let me just say about Aquaman in this movie and in this series. Jason Momoa isn't exactly what I would think of Aquaman. However, I do accept him. Aquaman can be kind of a hard character to nail down because he has that reputation. being the lame superhero who talks to fish. First of all, he doesn't talk to fish. Second of all, if you think Aquaman is lame, you're wrong. Aquaman is a really cool character who does a lot of cool stuff, and he's a really badass. But I don't blame this movie for trying something different. Hello, Jason Momoa. Little Miss Cass, you should play Lobo in the new DC movies. That would be really cool. But as far as this movie goes, like I said, Aquaman has a lot going on. So it's cool. He's got his kingdom, his son, his brother, father, and the environment. A lot going on. It's all really good. Help! Okay. So, take a little break for a banana. Okay. So, as far as Orm goes, I tell you, he's a pretty good character. I, like many people, thought that in the first movie he was a little bit generic evil bad, which worked for that movie. You know, it's all right. You don't always need a super complex, like, deep villain. But I like what they did with him in this movie. They kind of dimensionalized his character a little bit. They do poke fun at his philosophy that all humans bad must die by pointing out his hypocrisy in that he's never been to the surface world. So how the hell would he know anything? Again, showing that while Arthur is a little bit of a bumbling idiot, he does have a unique insight that no one on Atlantis or the surface world can really say. He knows the needs of both sides and can act as a true and proper king. And they also show that he's not just evil for the sake of evil. He actually does care for Atlantis. You know, he wants the best for his people. He's just misguided because he doesn't know. I thought that was a really interesting take. Where's my water? Chewy bit. Save the rest of that for later. As far as Black Manta goes, he's alright. He is kind of generic evil bad guy. Very much the same as he was in the first movie. But honestly, I don't mind it. Generic evil bad is fine. You don't need deep characters to be fun. As far as everyone else, like I said before, they're here. You know, Dolph Lundgren is here. Nicole Kidman. Oh boy, that's all really bad form. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm of the opinion that Tamora Morrison's not a very good actor. Go figure, prequels. But, you know, he's alright. Amber Heard's disappearance is fairly obvious. But, I don't know. Her character in the first movie was whatever anyway. So, not a big loss. There is one character that is very, very annoying. And I really wish was just not in the movie. That's Randall Park's character as the dorky doctor. Now, I'm of the opinion that Randall Park is not a very good actor. Although, to be fair, I've only seen him in Marvel and DC, so it won't be too hard. But his delivery never feels natural. It always sounds like a guy trying to be cool and badass and sarcastic, but he's never saying anything funny or cool. All in all, I just don't like him. I don't like Randall Park. I don't like his characters. I don't like the way he says lines. I don't like his roles in the story. They're entirely useless. Could be played by anybody. It's just annoying. Also, did any of you guys notice that the baby crying sound effect for Arthur Jr. is the exact same one that was used in the Justice League animated series when Orm tried to kill Arthur Jr.? I don't know if that counts as an Easter egg or if that was intentional, but I'm going to go ahead and count it because that shows the best thing that's ever been made. Speaking of technicals and sound effects, the cinematography in this movie is fine, aside from a few weird shots, you know, handheld and shaky and what have you. And even a couple of times they bring back the weird quick zoom in Man of Steel. Same goes for the editing and the ADR. Generally fairly fine, aside from a few weird hiccups. But I digress. It's usually not enough to overall detract from the movie, aside from providing weird little moments for film nerds to be like, hey, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. But again, I digress. Now, I should give you a fair warning before you go to see this movie. If you have severe insectophobia, this movie's nightmare fuel. Now, as for the DCEU universe, I make no secret of it. I'm really disappointed and pretty pissed off. The DC characters deserve a lot better. I know a lot of people think they don't, but like, dude, read like any DC comic and you'll see what I'm talking about. These characters are really badass. They're really fucking cool. They deserve better movies. So Warner Brothers, you're making the new ones. Do not screw it up. For real. Now, as far as this movie goes, pretty damn awesome. Good job, filmmakers. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm really tired, so I'm gonna take a nap. Wake me when there's new Superman or new season of My Adventures with Superman comes out. All right. Good night. Thanks for watching. And if you like that video, well, that is good. I got some good news for you, because down below this here video, you might not know, may not be aware, there's some buttons for you to click. you know, you are aware of those buttons, great for you. But if you don't, you are aware of those buttons do good things for you. And for me, but they may also bring you some joy. So, if you want joy, go ahead and click those buttons. Make you happy, make me happy. We got a win-win going on here. Only if you feel like it, of course. I can't really make you do anything from where I'm standing. But what do you... Like, but what do you all think? Do you think I'm a complete flaming, blathering idiot who knows nothing about which I'm speaking? Well, there's some comments down there, comment section, in which you can tell me. I look forward to that. Yeah. Go ahead, have fun. Also, if you got some advice about cooking hash browns, that doesn't cause this monstrosity to occur, I would love to hear it. Well, anyway, guys, that is about all I got. So, if you will excuse me, it is food time. Later.